Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Real Heroes Show. You got Cory and Nick with you here as always, and in today's video, we are talking spoilers for the penultimate episode of what we now know is season 1 of The Bad Batch, which when you loaded it up on Disney Plus, it just said finale part 1, but when the episode started, it said return to Kamino. Again, spoilers. If you haven't seen this episode or the ones that came before it, please click off this video, come back and see us when you're done. Nick, we've made it through another week. This video is posting on Saturday. We're recording on Friday. How you feeling today?
Doing well. I got a fresh cut.
Yeah, look at that.
Nice beard trim. So it's relaxing, it's been a good day so
in
far.
Like the 12 hours since we recorded our Suicide Squad video, your beard is a quarter of the length that it was before.
No, I've transformed in a matter of 12 hours.
I like it. That's good. So, fan of this episode? Yay, nay?
Yay.
Oh yeah,
very much so.
This one whipped the ass.
Yeah, I was really excited from the start. Especially when I saw the title, I was like, oh, okay, so we were kind of right, and in going back to Kamino, and I kind of figured at that point you'd be right again, that Kamino was probably going to get blown to smithereens.
Yes. In my notes from a prior episode, I said Kamino is fucked.
Yes.
And as of this episode, Kamino was fucked.
Yeah.
Man, that stuff, I hate to skip past all the stuff we saw in the beginning of the episode, but at the end, when it was just kind of like music without any dialogue, and it was just like the empty hallways, the empty cloning tubes, the mess hall, the room where the Bad Batch lived and hung out, all empty, nothing going on there. And then Tarkin says to Admiral Rampart, "You can fire when ready," which is a nice little A New Hope
throwback.
And the Star Destroyers came in, and that was it. It was bye-bye to a place that we first saw in Attack of the Clones, which is kind of like, I know the Clone War is over, but it's really like the very end of the Clone War at this point, because the facility they all came from is pretty much blown to smithereens.
Decommissioned.
And the entire Bad Batch is in there somewhere. So what the hell does that mean for next week, right?
Yeah, it's there's a couple of things I was thinking about during the episode. Number one was the collectiveness of the Bad Batch. What's going to happen with Crosshair, which I guess we'll get to in a moment. But not only that, but the same thing. If we were to figure out anything more from Omega, which we did, but we learned more about the other regs getting, shipped off somewhere and just rendered useless. And the other, scary thing that the Empire did was, any of the Kaminoans that resisted, they were just killed. Mm-hmm. Only with the ones that said, okay, well, we'll comply, which was probably just maybe the few scientists, especially Nala Se, which I thought was pretty clever as to having her own far off landing pad with a tube system that was just meant for her. So it's kind of like we learned that she's very important, and now she's in the hands of the Empire, which is very scary.
Yeah, which makes you wonder. StarWars.com posted a thing this week talking about Palpatine's contingency plan in the event of his death, and kind of recapping everything canon-wise, whether it's from the Aftermath books or Star Wars Battlefront 2 video game, all the way through Mando and the sequels. It kind of makes you wonder if they kind of forced Nala Se to do the work on the cloning side to help create this contingency plan for Palpatine against her will. So
yeah, and I mean I remember in the old books from the EU how there were just vats of Palpatine, and
like the end of the Prestige with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, essentially. And it's just, I remember thinking at that time, being younger and going like, holy crap, like, when Luke's sitting here trying to fight off the Emperor, but in the book he temporarily joins the Emperor, but but then he, powers through and defeats him like once and for all. So all of his vats are destroyed.
Right.
No more cloning of Palpatine. But again, like it kind of makes you wonder what else the Empire was up to. It's like, okay, we figured out, through Kamino and science how to clone or make clones that were troopers, but what else did they clone, and what else have they tried to clone? And it's interesting because of what we also know in the future with Mandalorian season 2. So and are they trying to somehow harvest metachlorians or something along those lines from
they say the M word, they say M count, right?
So
they're afraid to say midichlorians at this point. They say M count, which I think is hilarious. But,
just say it. We all know what it means. Like it's like blood count. Like okay, like
that's like Filoni waving at George and saying, "Hey, buddy, I didn't forget about you. Your ideas are still here." So So let's talk about now. Let's say she's got her private lab, right?
Right.
Which, we've got this super rad subway system that no one knew about from Attack of the Clones came out in 2002, so it's almost 20 years, and we're just now finding out that Kamino had some dirty little secrets, which is cool. She had a private lab, which is where Omega was born. It was also where the Bad Batch were born. Omega is older than the Bad Batch because she watched them get created and experimented on to create their enhancements, and then she had to watch them leave. They got sent off to go on missions and do the work for, at that time, the Republic, and she had to stick around. So it kind of explains to a degree this attachment that she's had with the Bad Batch for this entire season, because they're like her little brothers, which is such a strange thing to think about, but it's kind of the way it is, which is I don't know how you feel about that, but I think it's pretty cool.
It's funny because I'm like, so she's older than them. They look older than her.
Yep.
She views and says that they're her brothers, but also looks to Hunter kind of like a father figure.
Yep.
So it's all sorts of crazy kind of going back and forth.
Hey man, in the words of Dominic Toretto, there's nothing stronger than family.
Yeah, I mean, we got the huge family vibe. You can have any family you want as long as it's family, which clone families matter. So I was gonna say you can have any beer you want as long as it's a Corona, but no, sorry.
Yeah, bad looks.
No Coronas here in Clone Wars or Bad Batch, but it was funny just to kind of put all that and connect everything like together, and which it's also interesting about Crosshair.
Yeah.
Where he, says, I think Hunter says to him, how do we know if we can trust you? And then he asks the other troopers, the TK troopers, to stand down. Yep. They don't comply. He takes one shot and kills all five of them.
All. Dude, glorious.
What a show off. But I mean, like Crosshair, come on. Guy's a G when it comes to shooting things.
Oh, yeah.
So. And it's that moment where the droids come up, they're fighting side by side. We get a bit of nostalgia from, just their older days. And
the very first action set piece of this series takes place in that room. When they're showing off in front of Tarkin. So it kind of shows how far we've come. It's cool to see them working together again. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, sort of thing. But before all that, you have all this really tense stuff between Hunter and Crosshair, which is great when you think about the fact that it's just D. Bradley Baker talking to himself.
So it is pretty funny.
So Crosshair doesn't have his chip anymore. We learned that.
Yeah, before we even learned that, when Hunter is locked up and he's talking with Crosshair, and it almost seemed like Crosshair was holding a grudge against Hunter for leaving him behind, and he's like, what choice did we have? And he's like, what choice did I have? And it's like, I mean, I was thinking about it more at the moment, and even now kind of just thinking about it, like, when Order 66 took place in the long first episode that we got of this season, he kind of just went in with it. And you know, when he says, when did you get it removed? And he's like, does it matter? And he says, yes. And I'm like, yes, it does fucking matter, Crosshair. We need to know that.
If I had to guess, it would be right after the Cad Bane episode when his head got kind of blown up a little bit.
Yeah, like I was like, I don't think it was from the very beginning. Like I don't think, because it almost wouldn't make sense, and I don't think it would add enough weight to the story itself if like he had it in the first episode, because it would like it's like, so you've been faking it this entire time. Like I just that would be poor writing in my opinion.
Especially he does unspeakable things in those first couple episodes, and he kills like women and children that are purely innocent. I like to think that that's because of the inhibitor chip and not because Crosshair's just that much of a douche. He's kind of a douche, but I don't think he's that much.
But to say like I've always been this way, and it's like not like that. You know, not like that. Not like you were early on in the season. So yeah, I think it would have happened at some point. Right. In the maybe like you said around the Cad Bane episode, which would, I think, to me make more sense. His head's already messed up. He probably could have just been like,
just take this thing out of me. I'm here. I'm for the Empire.
Right. I'm devoting my allegiance, sort of thing. Yeah, like, and he still shows this ruthlessness, I guess, if you will, and which is slightly disturbing, because he does kind of pull this like Vader-esque type card where like join me and we can rule the Empire as father and son. It's like, join me and we can fight together as a squad again, and we'll be
gotta be for the bad guys.
But we gotta be for the bad guys now, guys. Sorry.
And at the end of the day, it's technically the same team they were on before, right? Because they fought for the Republic. The Republic turned into the Empire.
In a matter of speaking, it did because of Palpatine. Like it's like if Palpatine would have been there, then
sure,
it wouldn't have happened. Like if Anakin didn't interfere and Mace actually killed Palpatine, this probably wouldn't have happened.
Probably not,
because Order 66 never would have taken place.
I
always thought, could you imagine if that would have happened though, and all of a sudden someone was like, what is we have this record here of an Order 66, and it just triggers it. It's like, no, stop.
I wonder if there's like an archive button on Order 66. Like, can you go back from that ever, or is that just like a
is there like a reboot?
What's done is done kind of thing.
Is this like a one-way street only, and that's that? Like you can't double back. Like there's no like Order 67 that reverses Order 66, right? Like, I mean,
or just imagine Palpatine is fighting Mace Windu, and Anakin busts in, and he's like, no, he must stand trial. And then Mace Windu just goes, nope, and then slices his head off, and then it just rolls credits. Executive producer, George Lucas. that would be fun.
Yeah, it's like the prequels were it. No other Star Wars existed.
That's right.
I think that scene though was a bit unsettling, and I liked the tension though between all of them, and and we don't see it. We hear the stun gun noise from Hunter shooting Crosshair, which I figured is would happen. So where do you think that they actually go from here?
That's the thing, man. Like, you'd think that the next episode would lead off with them back on their ship trying to get Crosshair to be part of the team again, but they're trying to make their way to their ship, and then everything got blown to hell. So who knows? Are they underwater? Are they under rubble? God knows what's happening. It's gonna be a wild ride next week. I have a strong feeling, and maybe the knowledge will come out that the Bad Batch is still around, and then Tarkin will say, hey, you know what, we're not screwing around anymore, let's send in the big guns, and Vader shows up, or an Inquisitor shows up, or somebody like that. Who knows? Or I think there's always a chance that next week we might see one of them perish. I think either Hunter or Crosshair would be either Crosshair gets redeemed and then dies, or Hunter sacrifices himself to save Crosshair and then thus turns Crosshair like fully back to the good side. And then the second season, which we now know is happening, that opens up a whole bunch of different story possibilities, because now you have a team that doesn't have a leader. They have to reconcile with the guy that left them and then came back, and Omega having the fallout of her father figure dying. Like, I think that would be pretty rad if it happened, but we're getting way ahead of ourselves.
But I could see that. I could see that happening though too. You know, either one of those scenarios, and it's like if they're without a leader, does Rex come back? You know, like and help lead to a degree. You know, and then second season things can get really dicey. And again, if that run has the same amount of episodes in the run, who knows? Like, you know, there could be a lot of things that could happen. But yeah, as far as the stations getting blasted to hell. It's like I'm wondering. I'm like, so how are they going to actually escape? You know, or going to be clever enough to hide within the rubble, or find a way to get to one of the tubes and go back to their ship that was Nalase's platform. But yeah, like overall, like again, I think we've said this a number of times throughout the season. How will these last few episodes really add up? You know, last week was a lot better, which leads to this two-parter we get from the penultimate to next week's finale. So I really enjoyed this episode full and through. Definitely plan on watching it again, and it held my attention the entire time, and it was just like man, like this right here is the stuff like that. Like I would just talk about for the entire day, like to someone else. Like, and
the fact that we have to wait an entire week between parts 1 and 2 is like, it's like stabbing and twisting with a knife, man.
It's like season 7 of Clone Wars, the last
the four parts.
episodes, the 4-parter, and it's just like,
oh my god, so much. It's a lot, but we have to talk about this because the news came out this week that season 2 of the Bad Batch is officially happening, which makes 2022 probably the most epic year of Star Wars that we've seen in a really long time. So you're guaranteed Bad Batch season 2. You're probably going to get Andor. You're probably going to get Kenobi. You're definitely getting Boba Fett because that premieres in December, but it's going to
leads into
2022. And then depending on the shooting and release schedule, you might even get Mando season 3 all the way at the end of the year, which, good Lord Almighty, that's a lot of Star Wars
from end to end.
And it's almost all live action. Like there's one animated show and the rest is all live action stuff, which is completely insane to me. So really exciting. And even though some of these stories take place in different time periods, because like Bad Batch is right after the Clone Wars is over. Kenobi's like 10 years past that. Boba Fett is past the end of the original trilogy. Mando's the same thing, but they're all kind of connected in a way because they're all under, Filoni and his executive creative officer role or whatever. So you've got the Kamino and cloning stuff that transcends across the different timelines. You've got the Kenobi show, which is directed by Deborah Chow, who's a Mandalorian alumni. So like a lot of it I feel is going to cross-pollinate, and I think cohesion is something that Star Wars is really working on right now, and I think that they're going to really lock that up in the future. And next year's I'm so excited. I know the Marvel stuff is here already, and it's kind of going to be that way for a long time, but Star Wars is my number one, and to hear that there's going to be like 3 or 4 different Star Wars things happening in 1 year is kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's something new and something we haven't had in a long time. Like I, honestly, what would top it off, and I know we really haven't heard anything as of late, but it would be super awesome if like and again, this is probably a long shot, but it would be awesome if like they just happened to release Jedi Fallen Order 2 like late next year, because I'd be like, yes,
that first one was great. I love that game.
It's one of my favorite Star Wars games ever. So and again, that takes place within the same like time frame between Bad Batch to Boba Fett Mando season 3. So it's like
it's not even out of the question that you could see an animated version of Cal show up. That
would be cool to see that, honestly.
Troopers on the run, former Jedi on the run, like it could work. Like you run into Saw Gerrera in the first Fallen Order game. So
yeah, I mean,
not run into the Bad Batch. You know,
it would also be kind of cool if like they got a live action version of Cal, maybe in, I don't know if we'd see him in Obi-Wan or anything like that, but
it's possible.
Like either that or Andor, you know, just something, but still.
I mean, the guy from the game, he did all the mocap. Like it looks just like him. So
yeah, exactly.
You don't have to do any casting for it. You know who the guy is. You just bring him in and have it done.
Yeah.
So awesome, man. So if you're giving this one a score out of 10, I'm assuming you're gonna leave some room for a soul crushing finale. But where do you go with this one?
Man, I was thinking this one could get a 9. Yeah, a strong 9 from me.
I was thinking the same thing.
Like just I think it hit on all points, you know, and not even talking about how the animation looked, the scenes, and all that stuff. I mean, because that's always been just super consistent throughout the entire season. But purely going off of story, character, you know, overall plot of the episode, the 2-parter, just and what's beyond and how it all ties into one another. Just, you know, it's very strong, you know, and thankfully Dave Filoni knows how to write a story. So
yeah, him and his entire team down there, Brad Rao, Jennifer Corbett, the Kiners with the music. It's they have a solid thing going.
Nice shot going on. Yeah,
Lucasfilm Animation. And even with some of the episodes this season that have been kind of meh or whatever, you know, there have been a good deal of really solid ones, like the first couple episodes, stuff in the middle of Cad Bane, these last couple that we've had here, and hopefully a strong finale will make for a pretty strong season of television. And I'm very excited for the fact that they have more story to tell with the season 2. So that's gonna wrap things up for this one, everybody. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think that somebody from the Bad Batch will perish in next week's episode? Do you think we'll get a cliffhanger? Do you think they'll tie a bow on it? Whatever your thoughts are, let us know in the comments below. And as always, if you'd like to support this channel, you can do so for free. All you have to do is like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, turn on your notifications, and share with your friends. We will have a Ted Lasso review up on Monday. Marvel Wednesdays are back again this week because What If premieres on Wednesday, which is super exciting. Can't wait to talk about Captain Carter and all the wild craziness that goes on there. And then on Friday of next week, we'll be covering the finale of season 1 of the Bad Batch. So stay tuned for all those things. And until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Peace.